Well, a home run's good, but a grand slam is even better, and that's what Jameson Hannah did tonight. Jameson, you've really established yourself as a big pop and also a fast leadoff hitter as well. We've seen you in BP really hit some bombs out there, and now you finally get one in a game. What's it like to have your first home run as a grand slam?
I wish it came a little earlier, but it definitely feels good to hit my first of the summer.
What did you see when you were on that at-bat? Just take me through the sequence of the pitches.
The first couple of bats, all he was throwing me was changeups, and I was really out in front of him. Took some pretty ugly swings, but that at bat with the bases loaded, I figured he would throw me the same pitch, a changeup, and I got it and made sure not to miss it.
Jameson, you've been struggling a little bit since coming onto the Cape, but over your last 11 games, an 11-game hit streak, you have the grand slam tonight. You've progressively moved your way up the order over the course of the last about month or so. What's been the biggest change for you, and what have you noticed in yourself and your swing?
The summer's just a grind. You gotta come to the ballpark every day, try to get better. And like you said, didn't really start off that well at the start, but it's about how you finish, right? So trying to get better every day, and it pays off.
It's now 5 games in a row that you guys have dropped, and a couple nights it's been some tough hitting. Tonight the pitching wasn't as good as it's been. What do you think is the main thing this team needs to do to turn things around going into the playoffs?
People are going to struggle, but we just got to stick to who we are. Even if we're down, hitters don't try to do too much. Just try to get on base any means possible, try to score. And pitchers, don't try to get the strikeout. Just know that we got 7 guys behind you that are going to play defense.
Now, you guys have seen Jason Billis, the starter for Cotuit, 5 times this summer. Did that factor into that at-bat where you hit the grand slam? You also walked the first 2 times. It seemed like you were seeing the ball really well against him. You've had so many at-bats against one guy. That has to help, right?
Yeah, it definitely helps seeing the same guy 5 times, you said. You start to pick out what he's going to throw because you've seen it multiple times. And it's good to, I don't want to say guess, but kind of know what he's going to throw to you in certain counts.
I talked to Brian Eichhorn before the game about the chemistry of the bullpen, but there's a different chemistry in the dugout. When you were coming in, you saw Richard Palacios, and he just gave you a big old hug. What's it like having that kind of team chemistry inside the dugout? Does that lift up your spirits a little more when you're in these struggles?
Yeah, for sure. Our chemistry, we get along great, and it's like you said, Richie gave me a big old hug after that hit. We joke about each other every day, and it's good to get to know a bunch of new guys and be good friends with them.
Well, Jameson, we want to thank you for coming on Tomahawk Talk today. Great game today as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, with the most recent loss for the Braves, they lose here at Lowell Park against the Cotuit Kettleers. I'm Blaine McCormick. He's Kyle Kirchhoff, and he's Justin Galante. Justin, it's tough to be in these situations, no question about it if you're the Braves. Now with their 5th straight loss, we kind of talked a little bit about it with Jameson earlier. What's the biggest thing that they need to work on in order to kind of break the ice in this situation?
Well, I definitely think it would be good if they started scoring more runs than the other team in the games. 5 losses in a row. Sometimes it's the hitting, sometimes it's the pitching. It's what they said. They just have to put it all together. And like Jameson said, don't try and do too much. Just stay within yourself. The thing about the Cape Cod Baseball League is there are 2 games left, and rosters are still going to change a ton before the playoffs start on Saturday. So you just need a couple guys to get hot, and you only have to win 2 games to win a series. So the Braves could easily turn things around, just keep simplifying the game. The offense was good tonight. You hope you can carry that forward. And it's, the pitching, hopefully it changes up. They go to Chad Linsman to start tomorrow for the first time all summer. You expect a few innings out of him, and hopefully the bullpen can pitch well again. The one thing to note, 2 of the last 3 losses have come on the shoulders of pitchers making their summer debuts, and that's something that's very difficult, especially up on the Cape. But it's a good thing on the whole for the Braves, at least I think so, for these guys to get their feet wet before the playoffs. You don't want anyone making a debut in the playoffs in a big spot.
We'll get to the bullpen later, but I want to talk about this offense that the Braves had for tonight. We saw an improved performance from yesterday's game at Yarmouth Dennis, and courtesy of Jameson Hannah with that grand slam obviously helped, but also they crossed runners over the plate that they haven't been doing lately. What's been the biggest factor for this offense to keep hot?
Well, I think the at-bats from the first half to the second half are completely night and day. I think there was a lot of opportunities that we saw. I don't need to go over them. Everyone saw the opportunities that existed throughout the first half of the game for the Braves, situations where you just need to find to put a ball in play. And I know we we sound like broken records saying that, but there's been so many situations over the course of the summer where the Braves are just that one hit away from being able to spark something offensively and get something going. And you know when you're going up against this Cotuit team, you're going to go up against Griffin Conine. You're going to go up against a really potent offense that has the ability to change the game with one swing of the bat. The Braves don't necessarily have that kind of power, but tonight they were able to get some of it from Jameson Hannah, and it's been a long time coming for him. It was so great to see the grand slam, probably around 400 plus feet out to dead center field in a pretty deep ballpark in a massive situation. And although they only had the lead for a little bit of time, it was great to see the Braves on top in a period and to have them, kind of riding a bit of a high, even if it lasted for just 10 minutes. But to be able to garner that energy and to carry it on to the rest of the game is big. But to see them put together good at-bats in that ninth inning and spark a rally maybe shows that there's still some life left in the bats.
And we saw something that you don't really see too often, 2 grand slams in one game. And Justin, you mentioned the bullpen coming in earlier, and we saw Kyle Martin make his first appearance on the Cape, and he didn't get in too recently either, or he got in recently to Bourne as well. What did you see from him, and is this something that he needs to work on for the future?
Yeah, I mean, giving up grand slams is probably not the best thing in the world. But as Kyle talked about a lot on the broadcast, it kind of came because he walked a few batters going into that. And control is just something he needs to work on, but it's understandable. I mean, it's your first outing on the Cape, and you didn't exactly have the strike zone, and you're facing guys like Conine and Tolia and Genesta. I mean, it's understandable. I wouldn't want to pitch to those guys either. So, yeah, going forward, hopefully he can find the zone again. He showed some funky mechanics, and his arm angle's a little bit odd, something you don't see too often as a hitter, so that's something that could play in his favor, and he was around 90 with his fastball, so it's not like he's throwing slow or anything like that. So hopefully, yeah, he turns things around for the playoffs. But 2 grand slams in one inning, I've never seen that before. That's pretty amazing.
Now, on the opposite end, Kyle Marmon came into the game as well, and we've seen him really heat up lately. Today was kind of a cold spell for him, but he did hit 96 miles per hour on the scoreboard. What does it mean for him to really get into the game in this one, and how can he look to improve on his performance from today?
Well, unfortunately for us, we've seen the impact that a rough outing for the bullpen can have on a team over the course of the last week. There hasn't been a lot of excellence out of the pen, with the exception of a couple guys. I thought P.J. Poulin was really good tonight, as he's been all summer. Marmon's been one of those guys, and Justin, you summed it up very well on the broadcast. His earned run average and his statistics don't necessarily show how he's performed this summer. He had 2 bad outings. Tonight, I guess you can chalk that up as a third, but I don't think you look at tonight and say, this is the beginning of the end for Kyle Marmon. He's been so successful this summer, and I think there's a lot of bright left in his future. So to see him come out and struggle tonight obviously is disappointing. The Braves were down in the game already, so it's not like he had blown a lead. I don't think it's going to be too much of an impactful performance or lack thereof from Kyle. So I expect to see big things from him going forward, but it's going to, the Braves are going to have to find some consistency out of the guys in the bullpen whose last names aren't Feltner and Poulin. You've got to find some guys who are going to be able to sustain and bridge to those closers at the end of the game, bridge to the setup men, and we haven't seen it these last couple nights, so we'll see what happens going forward, but I think Kyle Marmon's going to be a plus.
Well, moving on to our Players of the Game segment, I'm going to go with Jameson Hannah. Enough said.
Ditto.
I like Jameson. I'm going to give a tip of the cap. I'm going to give my player of the game to P.J. Poulin. I thought Poulin was really good tonight, although he pitched in a situation where, like I said, it really did not matter in the grand scheme of things, but to be able to throw him out there and to show that he's still performing at the level that we had seen him throughout the course of the season is massive. So to be able to have your one lefty in the bullpen come out tonight, look really, 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 really sharp, and to have that going into the postseason is going to be big. But obviously, Jameson Hannah, the grand slam's great. I mean, it's just tough to beat.
Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to Tomahawk Talk. The Braves lose their 5th straight, courtesy of the Cotuit Kettleers. Make sure to tune in for tomorrow, because this will be the last home game of the 2017 season for the Braves. I know I'm getting emotional about it. I don't know about these guys, but it's definitely going to be tough to see our boys go out there at Bourne Park for the final time this year. But I'm Blaine McCormick, he's Justin Galante, and he's Kyle Kirchville. Thanks for tuning in to Tomahawk Talk, and we'll see you on the next pitch.